It is 7:46 here on your Friday morning wake-up call. You hear the music. It's time for Friday with the Fuzz. I'll toss it to Mr. Michael Greene.
Thank you, Derek. In studio with me today is Elgin's Chief of Police, Jeff Swoboda. Welcome. It's been a couple weeks. It seems like forever. Every time I don't see you for a little bit, it just seems like longer and longer since you were here last. So
yes, it does.
And my pile of stuff to cover, which we didn't even bring all of it, always seems to grow.
Yes, there was
good
a lot
and bad stuff.
A lot going on.
Not bad. Yeah, you're right.
Whoa.
Getting a cold or
when
something.
it's time to change, like that Brady Bunch song.
Derek, give him some hand sanitizer.
Now I got that song.
I feel fine. It's just my voice all of a sudden. Guess I was yelling a lot lately.
If you're just hitting puberty, we're in trouble. We're gonna have like an 8-foot-tall police chief.
Yes, really strong and
there we go.
Very hairy.
Bulls will need me.
There you go. Hey, you are an MVP, right?
Sure.
Hall of Famer. Anyway, you had a bunch of stuff going on, and since we did not have a show last Friday, preempted for the marathon that was, a couple of things housekeeping-wise, just wanted to follow up on. December 6th, there was an incident at the casino.
Casino, yep.
And evidently, a victim at the casino had, I guess, written a check at the casino to get cash, and this individual kind of targeted him.
Yeah, after he cashed the check, had the money in his hand as he was walking around. So then
I guess it approached him more than one time, right?
Yeah, I was kind of hanging out with him and kind of trying to talk with him, but then eventually grabbed the money from him.
Gotcha. Can you tell us a little bit, like, is there more? Did he try to befriend him? Was there anything? And I mean, eventually he just ripped it out of his hand.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, I'm not sure if he tried to befriend him so much as he was trying to, carry on conversation with him. So there was some type of exchange. I'm not sure for how long, but was obviously kind of following him. And obviously there's a lot of great security.
And I was just going to say, right at the casino, there's just a few cameras.
Yeah, there's a few. There's a few. So then we were able to kind of see and see that he was trailing him a little bit, and then at some point decided to take his chances and grab the money out of his hand and run, and left the victim with one of the $100 bills torn in half, and so he got away with half.
The victim was able to
hold on to the half.
Yeah.
Right. So as officers did the investigation, and eventually had a suspect, went to the house, was able to find that the other half of that $100 bill was laying on the porch. So it was nice to kind of piece it together.
It wasn't like
piece it together.
There you go. It wasn't like a trail of broken money to the house from the casino. No, just
one. Yeah, there weren't a bunch of little.
It's
torn
not like the
pieces
cartoons that we grew up watching on Saturday mornings.
No, but it was nice to have that. Yeah, it was nice to have the torn $100 bill. So that definitely was what we call a clue in police work, and that we were close. We were getting warmer, and eventually we were able to make a quality arrest.
And the individual, I mean, outside of being disturbed and rattled and stuff like that, was okay. He wasn't. The victim wasn't injured.
Not injured.
Per se.
Nope.
Okay, great. Not great, but at least it was a positive,
exactly.
Right? Speaking of video, I wanted to talk about there was a Sunday, December 6th, early morning hours. Kind of almost considered probably still Saturday night-ish. 1:10 in the morning. Elgin Police and Fire, or First Fire, I guess, right, responded to the 600 block of Raymond structure fire. In talking with one of the victims, she had said, I guess, that she recognized the individual as her ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
And on top of that, Elgin Police were able to obtain video of him filling up gas cans in a glass bottle at a local gas station.
Yeah, heard a bang, looked outside, saw her ex-boyfriend, and then saw flames, and called the fire department. Police get dispatched about the same time as well.
Do they always for every fire?
Not every fire, but probably if there's smoke or smell of something, the fire department might just go by themselves. But if there's an active fire, because what we try to do is cordon it off for them. They run their hoses across the street, so our traffic enforcement gets backed up, and you got the big fire trucks out there. So we'll many times get dispatched. I'm not sure if it's every single time, but a working fire will know that the fire department's going to it. So
and also they might just go anyway, just to see if they need help. Or,
a lot of times you'll hear, what's the fire department got going over here, because you see the trucks going. So, and sometimes they'll say, a smell of gas, and so we won't go on that type of thing. But generally speaking, so we show up as well, and we're able to get one of our midnight shift officers. We're able to kind of figure out who the ex-boyfriend was, where he lived, went, found him, and like you said, we're able to get video from the gas station. So it all again came together nicely. These videos coming, and it's a common theme here, but yeah, when you start having video evidence of all these things,
and that's why they kind of worked well together, right? And I know you do the video surveillance classes. And
Yep, security through surveillance.
And you're willing to go out even outside of those classes, right, and talk with business owners and homeowners and stuff about proper setup, proper placement. Can you talk a little bit about that, about the program and what officers are willing to do to help people with their surveillance?
Yeah, our technical investigations unit, which is headed up by Sergeant Pisegli, we've been going on it 2 years now, and so we were able to get this unit going. I think we're up to now, 4 or 5 officers, and we actually have some part-time officers that work patrol, but also are starting to kind of cross-train to learn more about a lot of the technology we're dealing with, from cell phones and investigating cell phones. When a crime is occurring, from text messages to websites visited, those types of things, that we're able to do some forensic investigations on cell phones. So working that unit with our security through surveillance, our technical investigations unit, one of their kind of staples of their programs they have is the security through surveillance. And so it started with, whenever we get a robbery or something big happen, we'd start doing an area canvas. Do you have a camera? Do you have a camera? So it would take a lot of time and energy. And so what we did was then go out and actually inventory where the cameras are at. If people want to tell us, they want to have security cameras at their house and not tell us, so be it. But if they want to tell us, I have a security camera at my house and I have a view of the street, well, then we're able to put that on a map. So then we're able to pull up and see where security cameras were. And so if something happened down the street from somebody with a security camera, we could go right to that person. We don't have to wake them up in the middle of the night. We can send them an email. We might have their phone number saying something happened down the street from your house the other night. Can you check your video surveillance and see if you see any cars around 1 o'clock in the morning? So it really was successful. And then we started doing this program, Security Through Surveillance, where we invite anybody to come in, businesses, homeowners, landlords, and learn about them, because people, they like the idea of security cameras, but sometimes they don't know, what type to buy, what format to use them in, how to put them inside a building. Many times people put cameras in the in the ceiling and it's looking straight down. Right. You don't get a good view of how tall the person is, all those things. So we help people set up their security cameras, and it ultimately helps us. It helps them. I believe it deters crime when you walk into a place and you know that there's video surveillance. Sometimes it doesn't matter. I know we're going to talk about some bank robberies where obviously people know there's going to be video. There's going to be some surveillance cameras, but they don't care. So we've just spent a lot of time on this, and it's really paid huge dividends for the police department with clearing crimes. And I think we're just going to see more and more of this going forward. I mean, we all know that fast forward, whatever you want to say, 30, 40 years from now. I mean, there's going to be just cameras everywhere, GPS everywhere. I know people, civil liberties, all those things. That is definitely a concern. But as we go forward, it's just going to be, everyone's going to have their cell phones, and cameras are going to be in many places, and we'll be able to continue to clear more crime. So it's just a matter of, as we go forward, balancing, the idea of clearing crimes and making quality arrests and safety and security versus people's personal rights and freedom to make sure that they can go out and not always be under surveillance. So where that ends up, again, years down the road, we don't know. But right now, when you walk into a business and they have a video camera there, hopefully it deters some people. But we also know that criminals aren't always thinking rationally, so they'll still try to rob a bank, thinking that the sunglasses and the hat, they'll never catch me now, type of thing. So
speaking of the bank robbery, and I know it was once it's right. A bank robbery, as we've talked about before, is an FBI case, even though it happened in Elgin because the banks are FDIC, federally insured, right? So it becomes their case. But you guys did put out a press release sometime last week, I think, before during the week,
yeah.
That it was simply just a statement from the Elgin police that 2 of those bank robberies, the suspects had been arrested. There was the PNC Bank robbery from November 16th, and also the Fifth Third Bank on November 4th. I don't know if there's anything you can talk to about it. It's not necessarily your case, but
right.
I guess putting it out there just to let everybody know, like, hey, just FYI, feel a little safer, kind of thing, right?
Yeah, it was. We worked. It's the FBI's case, but we worked very closely with them. I know one of the robbers we took into custody. Another one we helped the FBI, and they let us know that, hey, we're going to be in your town tomorrow morning to take one of these bank robbers in custody. So we worked very closely with them. Obviously, if somebody's that bold to go into a bank and rob a bank, who's to say that if they come across you walking down the street that they wouldn't do something to you? So obviously they're dangerous people just by the nature of going into a bank and committing a robbery. So we want to work very closely with the FBI to get those people off the street quickly, and it worked out well. So I know many times people, what's going on, and we were surprised to have, I think we had 5 in a couple weeks or a month or so. I mean, there were quite a few right after another, and it's one of those things. It's kind of like, sometimes with crime, why are we having so much crime recently? And we do have a bad weekend, and it's like, until we make the arrest and we can figure out what people's motives were and why something happened, sometimes we don't know. And sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it's very eerily quiet, and sometimes it's very, very busy. It's just kind of the nature of the work.
We've got a number of things still that we can follow up on, but really kind of wanted to talk a little bit more about this being the holiday season and everything else. You've got a lot of stuff that is good going on too, right? It's not all just solving crimes. I mean, although that's, probably, if you were to think of a police, department, that's their number one goal: keep everybody safe and solve any crimes that happen. But
prevent them first.
Prevent
we
them,
can.
right?
That would be
yeah.
that would be
there
the
you
best.
go.
But then if they happen, arrest. Yeah, make an arrest.
There you go. Cheap speak.
That's right. That's right.
But you've got some stuff. You were at the toy giveaway yesterday, doing some stuff, I believe, right?
We were helping out with the crisis centers.
Yeah.
Toy giveaway at the Hemmons.
Doing some bikes. I know that's a program that you've been running for a few years now, anyway.
Well, the Housing Authority actually gets the bikes donated. We help them. I know our crime-free housing unit works with the Housing Authority to make sure all the bikes get registered beforehand. And that night, so I think it was, was it Monday night or Tuesday night, was over at the Hemmons, or not the Hemmons, the center. And it was great. And Damon Duncan was there, who's the the director, I think, of the Housing Authority of Elgin, and his staff, and they put on a nice program. Kids were able to come up and get their bikes. James Harvey was there taking some fantastic photos, and it was a fun night and seeing the kids get their new bikes. It was a great time, and then also the seniors that were living in the buildings over there as well. They had some gifts for them.
Bikes when you were there?
Oh, yeah.
Do that?
Yeah, it's I think this is our 4th year doing it, and when I say we're there just helping.
Right.
It's the Housing Authority's
support
baby,
staff,
exactly.
Yeah.
And Chad and Kevin from Crime-Free Housing, the first year, once they were there, then they tried to register, but the kids got their bikes and their helmets, and
running around,
it was a mess.
riding, yeah.
So talking with them, it was very smart that we get there early. We work with, I think they bought them all at Walmart, local store, and brought them early, and we went through, and it was calm. And I say we, I didn't do it. They, the police department went through and registered all of them while the kids weren't there yet. So once they got it, they just had to put their name on the top of it and return it. So all the bikes are registered. So it works out well. And those bike registries, they go in our system and they last forever. So even if you lose your bike and 2 years from now we come across it, we find that tag hidden somewhere on the bike, we can get it back to you. So registering your bike is extremely important, especially if these are going to be some Christmas gifts for some kids out there. Yeah.
One thing that you did take part in, you were mentioning that you weren't there for the bikes, but you were at the senior services, serving lunch and doing some stuff. I saw some great photos.
Yeah.
I know it's near and dear to your heart. You love spending time with the seniors. Can you tell us a little bit about what you did there and the purpose of you guys doing that?
Yeah, senior services, obviously, we're just one of the best organizations within the entire city. I mean, they just do so much. Minnie and her whole staff and what they do for the seniors, and it's such a fun group over there. And for any holiday, from Valentine's Day party to they call it anyone's birthday party to again these Christmas, Thanksgiving, all the things that they do for the seniors in the community. So if you're a senior, a senior who's not involved, it's just a great group. And so I was talking with Sherry Ashenbrenner. She'd been down there, going down there since day one for her. And it was probably, I'm guessing, 7-8 years ago that I started going with Sherry. And we started, they'd have other volunteers, and Sherry and I would just start helping out, picking up the garbage, just talking to the seniors. Yep. And it slowly evolved into now it's like an event where, South Elgin, jokingly, their chief said, we're going to try and beat you this year with how many police officers we have there, type of thing. He's like, but the problem is, even if we brought our entire force, we wouldn't have you guys beat, because our rope officers volunteer their time to come in, crime-free housing, all the way up from myself, the entire command staff goes. It's just, it's a great event. Again, the seniors are, done so much for this community over the years, and they're just so much fun. You walk in there, and the stories, and you walk in, you get blinded by all the red that's going on, and it was just a fantastic day, and it's a lot of fun to serve the lunch, watch some great videos. Minnie always puts on some good entertainment, and there was some entertainment yesterday, and it's just we do it for Thanksgiving and Christmas, where we serve them the lunch. So Elgin was there, South Elgin Police and Fire, King County was there, and again, Sherry's always there with it, but Kevin Williams was there, and Randy from South Elgin are always the people that there. Yeah, so just a lot of fun. And this time of year, there's always going to be some negative stories that are out there, but I like to see our new officers going over there as well, because it's when you make arrest after arrest, or you go to negative call after negative call, it's easy for police officers. And years gone by, when there weren't these opportunities, or these officers didn't know there were these opportunities, any police officer, you can get jaded, and you can get kind of a negative view of the world, that everybody's a criminal, or everybody's, these people are getting victimized. And when you really go out and you see the people who we work for and why you're doing it, it re-energizes me every time when people say, you know, great job, the Elgin Police Department's doing so good. You know, you hear those things, and the new officers hear those things. It's just, it really resonates, I know, with me, and I believe it'll resonate with the officers. And so we get the volunteers going over there. And the cool thing is, I think it's everyone knows, it's no surprise that if you're going to be, first of all, hired, because I'm part of the group that hires police officers now. Yeah. If you're going to be hired as a police officer in Elgin, you better be doing a lot in the community even before you're an officer, doing something to, you don't have to be a police officer to be active in your community. But then once you get hired as a police officer, if you want any chance of getting into special divisions, you want any chance of being promoted, you better be very active in the community. Being a good cop is only part of your job, and the other part of your job is making sure you have a lot of connections within the community. You're open to the community. They know you. You know them, and if they need something, I always tell people, if and they say, what do I need to do to get promoted? Well, you need to be out there in the community, and they need to know you, and you need to be spending some of your own time, not just as a police officer time, but volunteering. And very proud that my entire command staff is on boards for some of the local not-for-profits, and it's just that's what it's about. I think if we really kind of realize that law enforcement is only a small percentage of what police officers do, that the majority of our time is done what's called order maintenance, or just talking with people, helping people, preventing crime, that type of stuff. That's when we really see success, and I think that's why Elgin Police has been so successful over the years.
Speaking of, if there are any officers out there, if there's anybody out there who wants to get involved, you have some stuff coming up, right? With Christmas being a week from today, there's some different programs. You have a Christmas party or
resident officers. Yeah, and we're doing that. I know they're going to also put some baskets. Oh yeah, there's plenty. Everybody knows when it's coming, and we have a whole calendar, and the neighborhood groups that we go to. There's plenty of opportunities for citizens to get involved with the police department and also for police officers to be involved with the community through many different means. And again, many are. So it was it's so great. Like I said, because that's the stuff that really I think gets you going, and it's the stuff that I believe that you'll remember. You'll remember some of the big arrests and all those other things, but you'll also remember the kid that you maybe didn't arrest that committed a retail theft and comes up to you when he's 30 years old and say, you know what, I remember you. I was the kid that stole, but you brought me home to my mom and she yelled at me, and now I'm a lawyer. Now I'm in college. And it's those kind of stories I think that really get me, that say, that's when you're making a difference, versus, you go write 100 tickets in a month and you don't remember anybody's name, and versus you really help people and help them get back on their path. I think that's what, in my opinion, not only makes a career, but makes a life, so that's cool. Yeah.
Anything else going on that you want to talk about? We'll give you a minute or two if you got anything that that is upcoming, or...
No, I guess, the last thing, we've been going around, and actually, I've been going with the command staff to all the roll calls and passing out our fitness awards. And,
okay.
So over half of the officers have, it's a volunteer program, over half the officers have taken the fitness program.
Is it just called the Echeverria Award?
Exactly, right. You get a little picture of him.
Of Edge.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And so we've taken just his face, exactly. And so you go out, and it's based on your age and your sex, because it's like a sliding scale. Fitness scale, yeah. And it's the same test that if you were going to test to be a new police officer, you would have to take. And so Elgin residents should be very proud that over half of our officers have taken and passed that test. And so we're going around and passing out the awards. So a lot of the officers are into fitness. I know Jim Bisegli's into it. I mean, it's just it's a great program where all of our supervisors are really getting involved in it. Myself, all the entire command staff took the test and passed it. We're going to some of these roll calls where everybody's taking it.
Bad if you didn't pass it.
I said we're going to lead by example with this. So it's a lot of fun, and so we're passing out all these award ribbons that the officers will be able to wear in their uniforms. But as we talk about, all the things, our goals from, reducing crime, improving traffic safety, and neighborhood engagement. One of our goals, our fourth goal that we have, is the goal of ourselves. And very proud of that, because I tell people we're not going to be good police officers going out doing good work and helping other people if we're not taking care of ourselves. If we ourselves are not healthy, if we ourselves don't have stable homes, I say, if you're sick and broke and going through a divorce and unhappy for a lot of things, and then you're expected to go out and be professional on the street, that's just not going to happen. So we talked to the new officers about starting to plan for retirement now, starting to think healthy, and so all of these things are going on. We have a nice workout room within the police department. The city gives us a membership at the center, so there's no excuse for any of us not to at least be in pretty good shape, because when the community needs us, we need to be right there for them.
It's good stuff. We will not have a show next Friday, as it's Christmas Day, so I'll do the politically incorrect thing here, and I will wish you a Merry Christmas, Jeff.
Merry Christmas.
To you and to your family, and have a good time. I will be out of the country. I'll be in Canada with my family, so...
Ooh, enjoy that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's been a few years since I've been able to go.
Good.
So
It's a great time to be around family, and pitchers and catchers reports soon.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
All right.
Cubbies.
All right.
Yeah.
Cubbies will be ready. Let's get
All right. Have a great one. We'll see you 2 weeks from today.
Sounds great. You guys have a good one as well.
You're listening to AM 1410 WRMN.
And Elgin.